And we are live. It's the Reseller Wake Up. This is our second Monday doing the show. Going to be here all week. How's it going, everybody? Checking you out on or watching the chat in YouTube. We'll be answering questions. If you got any comments for us, feel free to fire away. We got a light panel today. It's Monday, you know. I mean, I know there's a lot of stuff over the weekend. Paul dropped out. He might be back. There's a lot going on over the weekend, so everybody was really busy, and so we're just gonna be talking a little bit about that, and I'm gonna be doing a giveaway. It's not gonna be during the show, but I'll let you know what I'm gonna be giving away and everything. I'm gonna do a video later today, but I hit 100 subscribers this week, over the weekend, so that's kind of like typical fare in the community, I guess. You hit 100 subscribers, you give something away. But we've got Eric Castle on. What's going on, Eric?
Morning.
He's a military guy, photograph guy. We got Albatross. Albatross, what's happening, man?
Right here. Morning wake up with Vicks Vapor Rub.
He's got his sidekick, Biscuit Head, with him. She's running around a little bit. And then we got Adam Biohazard. He's here somewhere, but there she
Morning,
is.
Danica.
Hey.
Hi, Danica.
Hi.
Got Danica joining us. So, what happened this weekend? Anything? Anybody get any big scores? Any really good sales? Anything like that?
I bought a carload of books.
Was that at the book sale that you were showing us last week?
Yeah, I went back on Saturday and bought 12 boxes.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. And I take it's going to be pretty good return on your...
Yeah, I'll try to get the numbers added up before the end of the show. I've already got them scanned into Amazon.
Nice. What about you, Danica? Anything?
No, we've all been sick.
Oh, really? That sucks.
That's no excuse.
Yeah, I was in bed all weekend. That's my excuse. I still listed though.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the best time to list.
Yeah, I still did my listing.
What about you, Brian? Anything crazy?
I've had like 6 sales over the weekend, so I'm happy. Nothing major, but still. And here's Biscuit Head running around being crazy.
Morning, Morgan.
Morning, Biscuit Head.
Morning.
And we're going to let it warm up a little bit before we go out trying to pick today.
There's 4 people.
Yep. 4 people.
There's Adam again.
Shut up, Adam.
I like how she says your name, Adam. And there's Adam again.
Everybody's got the same feeling about Adam. So what did you get this weekend, Adam? Any good sales, any good picks, anything like that?
Hey, I'll tell you a couple things that I learned you can't sell on Amazon as new. A Mophie juice pack and 3 new Logitech speakers.
You can't sell Logitech speakers as new?
Yeah, you can't. I don't know why, but it kind of pisses me off.
It might be because, can you sell any Logitech stuff as new?
I have no clue. It might be company-wide.
Huh. You're going to have to look into that for sure. That's kind of frustrating. But Logitech sells pretty good on eBay anyway, so I guess it's not like...
I'm gonna double check, see how much they're going for on eBay before I decide if I can't sell those for a profit. I'm gonna keep those, but take the other ones back with the Mophie juice pack.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I didn't really get out too much this weekend. I did a haul video. If anybody, I got a lot of views on it, so people obviously been watching it. But you know, I just went out, budgeted myself a little bit because, as you guys can see, I actually need to sell and list more than I need to buy right now. So I'm trying to get through this mess, and most of this is actually Amazon stuff that's going out in the Amazon shipment today. So tomorrow everything should look a little better. But yeah, I've been taking everything away from, or like all my video games, you know, all my old PS2, Xbox games, all that, taking it off of eBay as it falls off of my store and sending it to Amazon. So my eBay sales have been going down quite a bit because of that, but I mean, my Amazon sales are doing really well. So I don't know. We're gonna see how it works out in the long run. I'm hoping that it's the right decision, but you know, it is what it is. I've got plenty of stuff that I can still sell on eBay, so I just have to get it listed. One of the things that I was looking through, though, I was trying to put together like my VCRs and my DVD players and all the stuff that I found at the Weigh and Pay last week. Just get everything tested, get it all listed, all that. One of the VCRs that I found turned out to be like originally $650, and yeah, it was still selling for $400 on FBA. I picked that up for like probably $8 on at the Weigh and Pay, so that was a pretty good find.
That was a horrible find.
Good job.
Yeah, so that kind of made up for the entire, like every penny I've spent at the Weigh and Pay so far by itself.
How many times have you gone now?
Twice. I went the first time I went, I just went crazy and picked up as much stuff as I could, and then the last time I went, I tried to keep it under control a little bit, but still, I bought that bike, which I haven't put on Craigslist yet. I'm probably gonna do that today after I get my Amazon shipment sent out.
That bike is so sweet.
I don't know.
I don't know what it is about it, but the thing is awesome.
Yeah.
This looks so cool.
Yeah, that actually I'm thinking about this week sometime, just going around looking for an antique booth, because there are 5 or 6 malls in my neighborhood, like in my area within maybe 5 miles of my house. Just finding out. There's actually one that I could walk to every day if I wanted to. But I just need to find out how much it costs and, you know, what kind of commissions I got to pay them and stuff like that. But
Do you find enough for that?
yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I've got enough stuff right now that just isn't even listed on eBay that I could put up, especially like clothing and things like that. A lot of the vintage clothing. 2 of the jackets that I found over the weekend they're like, I guess they're older 60s and 70s vintage. One of them was camel hair, the other one was cashmere. So, I mean, stuff like that I want to try and move, and, you know, I could probably do some of my video games and some of my older systems, you know, like when I find Ataris and stuff like that, I don't really want to, they don't sell that great on eBay. They sell, but they just don't sell for very much considering how big and bulky they are. And the games don't sell that great, but, you know, if I could just put them in a booth for like $1 a piece or whatever, then it would be awesome.
Cool.
Hey, Paul, be careful of putting games and stuff in your booth unless you're going to have showcases. That stuff will walk away.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
that's the other
even
thing.
when you do showcases, there's a few things you should know. If you have a countertop showcase, seal the glass down. A lot of them are built where the glass comes out, so it's always good to check and make sure that the glass is sealed down. That, and make sure after you lock your doors that you can't pick them up out of the track.
Okay.
Trust me, I learned the hard way.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start with really cheap stuff anyway that I don't care too much about, just to test it out and kind of get a feel for it. So, I don't know. Like I said, I really got to look into it more and decide if it's something that I want to mess around with, because it might be too much work for the return, and I'd have to change up kind of the way that I source, because right now I'm getting a lot more modern stuff, you know, a lot of electronics and a lot of books, video games, and like the clothing that I would wear is usually the clothing that I'm picking up. That's the only way it catches my eye, really, is if it's something that I would consider wearing myself. But
I would consider talking to someone that has a successful booth and see if they want to buy your stuff, or if, you know, instead of committing yourself to your own booth,
yeah,
which could potentially take away from what you're doing on eBay and Amazon, especially FBA, because I think that's just the biggest potential for money for me. I don't know about you guys. I mean, you guys pick, you know, kind of different things from what I do, but I would heavily weigh, you know, is it going to take too much away from your income streams that you have now that you know are working and growing?
Right. Well, the
Maybe
stuff
find
is
someone.
booth stuff is different than the internet because you can sell a lot of bigger stuff that's harder to ship that usually you can find for pretty cheap and get a good return on it. Decorator stuff, it's just a little bit different. I don't have a lot of smalls in mine. Everything I have is usually larger, or it's an odd item that is pretty common on eBay, but I can put a big price on it in the booth and catch tourists coming through that will buy it. You know what I mean? And it's stuff I pick up when I'm at sales anyways. I don't specifically go out sourcing for my booth. I just pick it up while I'm out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about doing like Polaroids and old cameras, typewriters. I've got a couple manual typewriters right now. I've got a couple of really cool looking older electronic typewriters that are really simple. Just stuff that even if
Right.
I only sell it for 30 or 40 bucks, it'll work. Or I know it works, and
Yeah, you got to remember there's still a lot of people that don't buy on eBay. And that's who you're trying to attract with some of that stuff, like old bottles. The littlest thing can make an old bottle worth $100 or make it worth $10. Well, I take all the $10 bottles and I put them in my booth for 25, and they sell.
okay,
But they sell for $10 on eBay.
right. Like old vintage Coke bottles and stuff like that, you mean?
Yeah, just stuff that looks cool. You know what I mean? And you would think would be worth more, but it's just real common on eBay, so there's not much value to it. But somebody coming through that wants an old bottle for their house, they're not going to care what the collectible value is. Then you're just selling it for aesthetic.
Plus, you'd get the impulse purchases.
Right. So it's just a different. It's a different type of market than the internet, and you just got to kind of learn it as you go. It's like I was telling you about steamer trunks. I mean, I have there's a decorator that comes through about every few months, and she pretty much buys every steamer trunk in the place. So I put $300 on it and it sells every time.
Yeah, I find those every once in a while, not too often, but they always end up being like newer version, repro kind of stuff. Like I don't really find stuff that's actually original or
Right.
old.
Yeah. See, and I don't screw with reproduction stuff really.
No.
If it's a piece of furniture and it's cheap and it's still real wood, yeah, then I'll buy it because it's still a quality piece of furniture, and I'll just put a smaller price on it.
That's the other thing. Like I find furniture all the time that there's just no way that I could sell, but on eBay. But I know it's good stuff, like older chairs and older end tables and coffee
Yeah.
tables, things like.
If you want a nice niche that you will make money at, look up Danish Modern.
And I
Okay.
have some Danish modern chairs that are worth a couple $1,000.
Yeah, it's one of the more common items, believe it or not, that people throw away because they just don't know it.
Well, they think it's 50s
They
junk.
think, right? They think exactly. So
Oh,
it's a
I
real
find-
good niche to know some Danish Modern stuff.
Yeah, I see so much of that modern, like the curved one piece of plastic chairs, and like the just some of the more like the bar stools and stuff. Like the like I don't know if it's resin or plastic or what, but just it's like a little seat, and they've got I don't know, they're like 4 feet tall or whatnot, stuff like that, and I see it all the time. I just don't pick it up because I don't have any way to get rid of it. And my bicycle, I know, like I get those old bikes all the time like that, and just having a way where I could get it out of my garage and have it sitting somewhere else where somebody else might buy it, I would really, and plus it would give me a reason to refurbish them better. I mean, if I know I'm gonna get $300 for it in a booth, then I'll sit there and polish the chrome and clean up all the rust and get it looking good. Change the wheels and tires and get everything like really nice. And maybe somebody will come along if they can go and look at it without having to come to my house. Like I could even post stuff like that on Facebook, like here's the booth, but go check it out yourself, and then they can just buy it if they want it, and if they don't, I never even have to talk to them.
Just weigh your time. You know what I mean? Because you are busy already.
I know.
So don't overextend yourself, kind of thing.
I'm thinking really hard about hiring somebody. I've got a couple of kids that used to work for me. They're not kids; they're like 18. But one of them I actually really, really liked, and I mean I liked them both a lot. But I think one of them's still in school, the other one was graduated. So it'd be nice to have somebody around that's just around all day, you know. But I'd like to get a place before I have somebody helping me. I don't want somebody around my house all day. I'd rather have somebody that's like, here you go, get to work. This is, you know, how to teach them how to measure clothing, how to take pictures, how to take really good pictures that have enough space for a really good photo booth. Where, I mean, I can get good pictures out of my area because I kind of know how to. I know all the little tricks and stuff, but that took me a long time to get to the point where I can do it. And, I mean, that's the biggest problem with hiring somebody. You gotta rely on them to care as much as you do, and I mean, I don't. You gotta train them good, you know. I mean, otherwise, they're just gonna either A, be really good on their own and learn how to do everything on their own, and then they're gonna be able to take off and do it themselves. Then you have to find somebody else and train them, or they're just gonna end up not being worthwhile, you know, worth the money that you're paying them.
Not to sound nasty, but you want someone that doesn't have any initiative, basically. You want someone that wants that paycheck. That's somebody asked me about that before, how to find a good assistant, and you want somebody that can learn but that has zero initiative, like they don't want to better their station.
They're just happy making a little paycheck.
They just want the money, you know, guaranteed money week after week, but they don't, you know, they don't want to move up.
Yeah, they just want a steady paycheck. They want to feel comfortable. They want to be complacent. And some people want to be able to do that. And, I mean, like me, I just can't do it anymore, you know? I mean,
I can't fathom not wanting to better yourself.
I know. I mean, even at my old job, I just got to the point where I wouldn't be able to make more money doing it. And that's why I had to start doing eBay. And it's a good thing I did, because I would have lost my job whether I had been on eBay or not. And I would be scrambling right now. I'd probably still be working my ass off to get back to where I was if I got a new sales job and had to start building my commissions back up and everything. But I mean, my commissions were so low compared to, I was at the point where I needed to start pulling in like $500,000 and $1 million a year accounts just to make an impact on my income. And now on eBay, you make as much money as you go out there and make. And same with the FBA, you know. I just feel like I have a lot more control now, and I like that feeling of control a lot more.
What kind of sales did you do?
I sold produce. I was a wholesale produce distributor, or I worked for a wholesale produce distributor.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like the supplies, the grocery stores and stuff?
Yeah, I was in charge of the Walmart fill-in. Like if their warehouse would run out of stuff, they would call me, and I'd send them a pallet of whatever they ran out of, and I'd just send it out to all the stores.
That's cool. I bet that was never boring.
No, it was fun. I mean, I liked it a lot, and it was good because, you know, they're only it was like 6 a.m. That's one of the reasons why I got used to waking up early, you know, and that's why I started this morning show, because there was no freaking morning show, and I'm so used to getting up and listening to the radio or whatever, but I can't listen to AM radio anymore, you know? Like, I listen to those guys, and it's just, too much, like, preaching and too much religion and too much of all this it seems like on all those morning shows that I could find. So it's like, I found these hangouts and took the place of that, and, you know, I'd still listen to a few podcasts and stuff. They're nice. And that reminds me, I'm probably going to start downloading this show podcast and uploading it as the Resellers Wakeup podcast, as well as the hangout on YouTube. So that'll be kind of interesting. I want to see how that goes. But if any of you are just watching the show like a show, and maybe it's too long, or maybe you just can't really bring it along with you, hey, Eric, what's that feedback?
Eric.
For a second until you figure that out, Eric. There's some kind of like humming in your background. I'm not sure what it is. But yeah, so I'm trying to, come up with more ways just to get the show out to everybody, because I know you can't really watch it as a show. When you're out in the car or whatever, it'd probably be more convenient for everybody to just take it, download it as a podcast, and listen to it that way. So, I want to get it out to as many people as I can. I think we've been putting out some good information and everything. So,
So you were a banana salesman?
what's that?
You were a banana salesman?
I was a banana salesman. Yeah, exactly. That was actually one of the biggest things that we sold. I mean, that was a third of our warehouse, maybe quarter of our warehouse was just banana rooms. But I mean, that was what I did. Walmart was pretty easy to deal with. I'd be up at 5 or 6 a.m. taking their orders. Everything would be out by 10 or 11, and then I would just be putting out fires until 2 or 3 o'clock, and then once I got into that routine, then I had plenty of time to get started on my eBay business in the afternoons and at night. And like I said a million times before, I started out just putting up auctions on Sunday, do like 10 or 20 of them at the most, maybe 5 or 10, whatever. And then the next Sunday they would end. I would put up 5 or 10 more auctions, and then I would package everything for sale from the previous week's sales once everybody paid. And then, that was good for a couple $100 a week. And if you're just getting started, that's what I recommend to anybody. I mean, you can just start with, 4 or 5 items. Doesn't even have to be real big ticket items. If you're thinking about getting started, just start that way.
Are you sliding more towards electronics now?
Oh, definitely. I'm still doing a lot of gaming stuff. I think if I start doing, I'm thinking about getting back into Warhammer, because I mean, it's amazing how much those little figurines sell for, and there are like 3 or 4 really, really popular games that people play, and you can find that stuff for really cheap every once in a while, but you really have to know what you're looking for. You have to be able to recognize it. It's a niche. I mean, it's a niche that I would feel comfortable going out and spending $500 on some Warhammer stuff because I know what I'm going to make on it. But if you're just getting into it and you don't know anything about it, and you see a bunch of figures in a bag or at a garage sale, either it's got to be really, really, really cheap, or you've got to know exactly what you're buying. What's happening, Chad? How's it going?
What?
Can't hear you.
What?
Oh, your mic is screwing up again. You don't sound like a chipmunk this time.
That was pretty cool. I liked it when he sounded like a chipmunk.
Use sign language.
Yeah, you sound like you're muted, Chad.
I think it's time for him to get a new camera microphone set up.
I got his old camera.
I was going to say, didn't you just get a new camera?
Yeah, because I got the old one right here.
And yours is working fine. You never have any problems. I think it might be user error.
Am I still humming?
Nope, you're good now.
All right. Old computer, loud fan.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure what that was, but it was pretty loud.
Yeah, I just elevated it off the table so it wasn't vibrating.
Okay, cool.
Let's try this again.
Good morning, good morning.
What?
Hey.
Hey, Chad, how's it going?
Good. I don't know why it does that. I have not a clue.
Chad, it just does not like you.
Just get you a new camera.
Yeah. You don't even want to know how many cameras I've gone through.
I know of one.
Others using one, you're using one, and they all work for you guys, but not me.
Maybe you just break cameras.
You have a face. You just have a face made for radio. Admit it.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. You got a face for radio, man. You should stick to podcasts.
There you go. Oh, kitty.
How was your weekend, Chad? We saw you on. Everybody watched the Pickers Church yesterday.
I wasn't able to watch it live, but had to catch the replay. I was NyQuil'd out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just we were talking about the returns and stuff like that. It's just if you're out there and you're not just kind of frustrated about it, I mean, we all know we have to deal with it. It's just one of those things. We know we have to deal with it, but we're just having to deal with a different type of person, it seems like. And I don't know.
Well, you were talking about those vintage electronics and the reel-to-reels and stuff like that, and those are the kind of things you're having issues with. We were talking a little bit earlier about antique booths, and I'm going to be looking into it to see if it's something that I want to actually start working on and maybe open one, and that's the kind of stuff that I want to sell, like the big.
Well, you know, you'd be really surprised. And you know, I've done the antique booth with the vintage and stuff like that. And if you're in a bigger town, it's probably better. But in a smaller town, you know, 20,000 people, 30,000 people, we're getting a lot of this stuff at thrift stores, and you know, you're seeing, I don't know, it's like you're in competition with thrift stores because the stuff you're picking up, a lot of times, you know, you're going to move it into your, and a lot of this stuff does sell, but it's just, you've got to have the bigger market out there for some of this stuff. I mean, you could stick a reel-to-reel in around where I was, and it just wouldn't, it wouldn't go, or the Polaroid cameras just would not sell. That's why they're only $1 at the thrift stores. You know, I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's
You're
a.
not selling antiques. You know, it's
Yeah.
or just hard to find items like cowboy boots, you know, stuff like that. Then
Oh, I find cowboy boots all day long at my thrift stores. Like anytime I walk into a thrift store, there'll be 3 or 4 pair of cowboy boots probably.
yeah, it depends on your location and you know your antique malls, you know your booths and stuff like that. The cowboy boots may not sell there. It just depends on where you're at. You got to do some research before you open a booth. I mean, you really have to see just keep going in and looking and knowing what's there. And antiques, then the next day. Yes. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
Dude, you look like you had a rough night.
I just woke up early. Daughter had a headache, so I get up and give her some Tylenol.
Oh,
Why
So,
did you give her a headache for?
not me this time. It was contagious because I've had one all weekend. Oh,
So,
early for me.
yeah, the thing about my area, there are probably 5 or 6 antique malls that I know of within just a few miles of my house, like I was saying earlier. One of them is like the size of a Walmart. It is gigantic, and it's right off the interstate. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just really expensive, and I've been in there, just not recently. I don't go there. I don't really go to antique booths to pick because everything seems kind of expensive. But I can tell you, like, vintage stuff, like vintage electronics, you just don't find that stuff at thrift stores around here. Everything I
that
find,
might be a reason.
I know. There are people out there that are buying that stuff every day, you know, and I mean, when I find it, it just came out, obviously, and I mean, I snag it whenever I see it. But I mean, if they're not, I feel like if you're not finding that stuff at thrift stores regularly, then there's probably a market for it because people are either holding on to it or they're selling it for the actual price somewhere, like what it's worth somewhere.
Yeah. I'm considering just stopping my vintage electronics on eBay because there's just not that protection I need as a seller to deal in vintage electronics. There just isn't. I mean,
They're just too expensive to have shipped back. You can't get enough money out of them. I mean, if somebody decides to return them, you're just screwed. You can either refund them completely, or you can have them ship it back, and it costs as much as it costs whatever it cost for the thing in the first place, just to
yeah,
have it shipped back. And then
yeah.
and you won't even if you resell it again, it won't even be at a profit.
Yep.
So, I mean, yeah, I've been selling most of my vintage electronics to a couple of local shops that deal in that stuff, But even them, I mean, I've been bringing them enough stuff where they're getting sick of seeing me, you know. I mean, it's like I seem to be popping in every day,
Yeah.
or like every week, you know, with 3 or 4 items, and they just don't sell their stuff that fast. So it's kind of not really a good market, I guess, for me. I like to flip stuff,
Well,
but who knows? Well, like I said, I'm just gonna be testing the waters this week and looking around and kind of seeing, and maybe I'll even find a source. Just walk in the malls, you know, find a good booth that has a lot of stuff that I can sell. But
Yeah, all I can say is do your research, man, on your area. It's hard for anybody to sit here and say how well your booth will be successful and what kind of stuff sells in your booth, because only you can find that out just by going in, seeing what people have, going in the next day, seeing what you don't see there now, going in and just researching it, and take your chance with it. And then you have to be. It takes 3 months probably to get your competitive pricing right. I mean, it's just
it's a lot of work, I know.
it's a lot of time if you do it right. And then once you get it dialed in, then it's a matter of you find some, you know, you take it, you add it to it. You got to go in every now and then and shuffle things up, change things around so it looks fresh, looks new. I mean, it's some work, brother. I mean, if you're looking to make your life easier, that's not the way to go.
Yeah, it's a hustle. Everything's a hustle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right now, the way to make your life easier is FBA, from what I gathered.
yeah, most of the stuff back here is going out to FBA. Today, I'm going to be packaging that up and shipping it out. I've got probably 60 items that are going out.
Yeah.
Mostly, like my video games that have been coming off eBay. But yeah, I found a VCR. One of the VCRs I picked up at the Weigh and Pay. I ended up putting it in on FBA. It turns out it's $400.
Yeah.
I was like, what? So I check Camel, and there's I mean, it seems like every 2 or 3 months one sells, and there are only 2 of them on FBA, sold by the same guy. One of them has a remote, the other one doesn't. But I'm just gonna throw it up there for $400 and see how it does.
I don't know. I've been kind of going away from FBA. Maybe a little bit easy, but I like the instant money what eBay has. And on the return, everyone's scared of returns on eBay, and so they're going to run to Amazon because it's easier. Well, it's easier for the returns because Amazon's going to return the money for you right away, whether they return their product or not. I just had a $100 return this weekend. All you do is you get the email and we refund this money. And if there's a new item and it comes back all whatever, you can't resell it as new anymore. At least with eBay, you have a little bit of control of telling them what they can do with the return. So I don't know. I love FBA for the ease of shipping things in and all that stuff, but return policy just kind of pisses me off at times.
Yeah, their return policy is so easy.
You know what, Brian?
So that return policy on Amazon is so easy for the customer. By the time you get the email, the money's already gone.
Yeah.
Pulled
They
out
don't have a reason. They just call. They don't have to check a checkbox saying not as described, or whatever. They just call Amazon and they say, "Sure, send it back. You have 45 days to send us back the item."
Well,
I don't know.
Right, so you don't think that maybe having that policy causes people to spend more money, though?
I don't know. What's the point of spending more money if they're just going to return the item?
Because they don't have to.
But I would think a small percentage of people return it, but a larger percentage spend more money there because they know they can return it.
I agree that you can make more money with Amazon because there's a wider market and their policies and all that. I'm just saying it's frustrating sometimes to wake up to an email saying we just refunded your customer $100, and then I have to wait 45 days until the product gets back to them to find out why it was returned.
Right.
well, it's whenever it gets processed back in, you can check and see, like, what the reason for the return is.
Right, but you have to wait up to 40. They have 45 days to return it. So
Yeah.
a month and a half, you're waiting to see what's wrong with this product, and you're out the money already. It's not like eBay.
Yes.
They send it back to me, and I'll refund you the money once it comes back to me in the right shape.
I mean, my TV blows up, and I'm like, oh, let me look on Amazon and find the exact same model. Oh, it's a brand new TV, or eBay for that matter.
Right.
You know, and you get a free TV. You send them back your piece of shit that just blew up, and there's nothing you can do. Nothing. And I still haven't heard back on this VCR that got sent back. Different than, it's not the same one I sent them, so, and I'm still waiting. I mean, it's just, I think we're making good people go bad. Not we aren't making, but the opportunity is there, and
I mean, that's
Now, with the vintage electronics, can you put an unpeelable label on your stuff and use that as proof that they sent the wrong item back?
security label, I do have them, and I didn't put it on this, but that's beside the fact. I mean, there's no doubt that this isn't the same one. I mean, there's just,
Right, well, I understand that, but you got to prove that to Amazon. My question is would they accept that as evidence if you prove that you put unpeelable labels on your stuff and
I
you got
have
something
no
back
idea.
without your label on it?
You would think they would, you would think, but like if you send that into Amazon, they're not going to know that that label wasn't on there when you sent it to them, or was on there when you sent it to them, especially if it's FBA.
Well, that's why, like with FBA on higher dollar items, I try to take pictures of the items so that, first of all, it's for the customer, but it's also for me. And I take pictures of the actual serial number and all that, so that I have proof on file with Amazon that this was the item. You know, I mean, especially with like Xbox 360s and PS3s and like newer, really high dollar video game consoles, that seems to be very, very prevalent, that scam of buying an item and then sending it back saying it didn't work. So, and I like also Adam's idea of using the ultraviolet light, the pen with the ultraviolet, an ultraviolet marker with an ultraviolet flashlight.
Yeah, but see, all that, you see, that's the steps that we need to be protected against, and not we have to protect ourselves, because it's just, I don't know.
I think that's one of those things, though, that Amazon can't protect all of us on, that kind of thing.
They can protect any of us.
Yeah,
But,
that-
I mean, they're there for us on the back end of it, but like with electronics, you have to have your serial number, and they do accept that. Snap a picture, make one of the pictures in your listing the serial number.
And I have that.
But
on that.
Amazon will accept that. If the serial number doesn't match on what was returned, Amazon takes the hit, not you. They give you your money.
They're usually good at
They're
care of this. They're better at taking care of the shuttle in eBay. It's just the hassle and the time frame. Like I said, the customer has 45 days to return to Amazon, and then you have to put in a removal order, which can take another 2 weeks to 3 weeks to get it back to you before
Right.
you can start the claim. That's 2.5 months.
Yeah.
You definitely have to have a financial cushion.
Yeah, deep pockets.
Oh,
You
sure.
just got to add it to your business model if you're choosing to sell on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's just like when you start on eBay, you got to get used to them holding it for 3 days.
Yeah, the thing about Amazon and eBay, I mean, if you're not doing enough volume to make up, like, or to make enough money to live on, then you are probably doing enough volume to be able to eat a couple of returns. Like for me, I probably get one return a month, I would say, maybe. And I mean, it's very, very rare. And I don't sell a whole lot of super high dollar items, you know. So I mean, I always get nervous when that $200 item goes out, and I try and take extra steps to make sure that, you know, I'm not going to get scammed with like the security labels and all that stuff. But I mean,
Well,
Yeah, I mean, I'm new to Amazon, but eBay, I've only had 2 returns this year.
I haven't had any returns on eBay, so that's why I knock on wood. But Amazon with their, yeah, sure. I've had probably one a month on average since I started.
Has it been all high dollar items?
No, it's all. Most of it's been you know, a $20 or less item. This one this weekend was a $100 item. That's why it kind of pisses me off, because that's a big chunk. You know, like I just lost $100 that was in my account, so it's just kind of frustrating. And I roll with it and all that. It's just a frustration factor, because
Right.
I kind of was looking at that. I mean, it was a Darth Maul lightsaber, and I paid high dollar for it, first of all, and I know the box was open, but everything was still wrapped inside. It was still factory, you know, sealed. So all I had to do was close the box back up, and I sold it as new. And I just don't know what their reason is, because it was new. So,
yeah. Well, see, my motivation is not motivated by the money aspect of it. It's not motivated by not having the cushion. It's all principle, because I don't have a problem with refunds at all. I don't have a problem with, you know, I'm one of the ones that instead of forking out further, it's like, you know, something, no big deal, keep the item, you know, here's the money, you do with it as you please, you know, everything's cool. And it's the ones that you get the negative feedback, and because you challenge them, because you know they're freaking crook.
right.
I mean, you know it. There's no doubt in my mind. Just like this squirt gun I sold. I shipped it, and it went to Connecticut, I think. And I get a negative feedback saying that I'm in Hong Kong and it took over a month to get here and it doesn't work. It's like, no, it was delivered to you like 3 days after I shipped it. What's the deal here?
eBay?
Huh?
Did you fight that one with eBay?
I haven't called him yet, but it's just a fact. Well,
they will remove it. I had a guy that did that to me with a camera.
I understand they'll remove it. It's just the fact that I challenged him as saying, look, dude, I know you got it 3 days later, and he's like, that must be a mistake, because and it was over a month later that he was complaining about it. And
Right.
It's like, look. And that's the stuff I'm dealing with. Then I'm dealing with this VCR guy. He left me a negative feedback saying that he returned it, but he hasn't gotten his money back yet. And yeah, you returned it okay. You didn't return it. You returned something else. It's the thieves. It's the scammers. Those are the ones that they have my feedback knocked down to 99.3%. And before all this new crap started, I was 100%.
Yeah.
It is frustrating that people are so dirty. I completely agree, because I can't stand a liar. I
Yeah.
hate nothing more than a liar, and I understand that, because it does get to me. You know,
It's the
people
principle.
are nasty, but
You're stealing from me.
the thing, it's never been at me. I've never had a return or anything, you know, but I see all these people, because I try to make myself prepared for every eventuality in this business. I
Yeah.
try to know ahead of time the steps that I need to take, what I need to do, that kind of thing. And it just,
Yeah.
hey, Morgan, put your fingers in your ears. It pisses me off, you know, that people that people are just so nasty to each other. I don't understand. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Here's another question for you, Chad. Has your eBay business increased a lot this year as opposed to previous years that you've been doing this? And perhaps that's why you're seeing more activity on the return side? Is that
Well,
you're
it's not so
doing
much
more stuff?
return. Like I said, it's not so much the returns.
Or even negative feedback. I'm just saying in general, are you doing a lot more now than you have previously?
Not a whole lot more, but on top of all that stuff, I mean, do you know how many partial refunds I've given because somebody finds? I mean, it's this whole aspect now that we haven't had to deal with in the past. I've always sold a good quality product at probably a better price than everybody else that's I'm competing against on eBay because that's my business plan. So they're getting it cheaper than they would have anywhere else probably in the world, and then have an issue with it because they know they could, if they say they have a little issue, they're going to get something back. So,
Well, that's
right. See, I don't do partial refunds.
Well, I mean,
and I put it in all my listings in big bold print that either it gets sent back or not. Now, I have had instances, because I do a lot of paper and photos, where the mailman will, like, bend a photo in half even though it's cardboarded and marked.
Yeah.
And I'll just refund their money if they send me a picture of it. I'm not going to make them send a photo back. But if I send them something tangible that, they can't prove to me that's destroyed, then they got to send it back to me. But I don't do the partial, either full or nothing.
But if you sell clothing, I mean, you can't make them prove that it doesn't fit them the way they want it to fit them. I mean, there's this sense of entitlement.
Would you refund them and let them keep it, or would you make them send it back?
It depends on the situation. If it's gonna cost me more, like I said, I don't have a problem with returns. If it's a flat out, if somebody sends me a message saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't fit me," I'm like, absolutely, send it back, not a problem. Or if there's somebody that gets something and it's questionable, I'm like, something here, I apologize or whatever. I don't know. I had somebody say you sent it to the wrong address. My neighbor's got it. It's like, oh, how's that on me? I mean, it's just it seems like there's always something now that a seller is scared to death that it's gonna, and then look at me.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with dealing with the honest person. It's the thief.
Okay, here's what
that's why I usually think anybody that wants a partial refund, half the time I think they're scamming. And that's why I just started that policy of not giving partials. Now, obviously, I can break my own policy, but I just put it out there, and I've never really had too many people since I started doing that ask for partial refund.
Well, it also depends on the type of stuff you're selling. I mean, I never had a problem with my military stuff I've sold. Never had a problem. I mean, it's the high problem areas, I guess. It's the vintage electronics where it's so easy to get ripped off because the people who are buying these, they're like these. You're not just going to get some Joe Blow to buy this.
Right.
They're real. You're going to get somebody that knows the tubes that are in it, how much those tubes are worth, and it's something that they can harvest from, and then get these high-dollar crap free.
Right.
Because a lot of these are worth 10 times as much money if you part them out, and people just don't want to do that. But I know that, and I mean, it's just a matter of, I don't know, it's just frustrating.
Yeah, well, that's why I don't do clothes. I bought out a diesel jeans store that went out of business. And it was like, I don't know, almost 1,000 pairs or so of jeans, and that was enough of a nightmare for me to stop selling clothes.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably buy that diesel store out, and then you probably got accused of something being a fake, but yet it came from an actual diesel store.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean, I had people complaining about, stonewashed jeans, the color patterns being off, or well, that size doesn't fit me, even though I provided like every measurement, including the space between stitches.
And how is that a seller's fault where they should get a ding for a defect? That's where eBay needs to look into this stuff.
That is the one thing that I agree with you, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but that's the thing that bothers me the most about the defect rating is how big of an issue is it? And actually, one of the things that, or one of our topics this week, I'm not sure what day we're going to do it, is going to be defect. How is the defect rating affecting you? But I mean, we might as well do that now because it's you know, we're already talking about it. But
It doesn't affect me at all.
it doesn't. It hasn't affected me much. But here's
I
my
got like, I don't know, 4 negatives and 6 neutrals, and that can get removed in my account. I'm still at 99%, and I don't notice a difference in anything. I haven't been scolded by eBay, you know, nothing. I've never been a top rated or, you know, whatever that discount level is, you know, but I'm still a power seller and all that other kind of stuff, and I haven't noticed a difference in my sales either. People really don't care because they see the feedback, and I always reply to the feedback as well. And I never attack the customer. I just explain my side of the story.
Yeah.
All right, guys. What's up, Gill Daddy and Gill Mama? How you guys doing?
Morning, Sarah.
Glad you guys can make it on the show.
Good morning.
I mean, my
I don't have a problem with
Us are
this.
dressed, so
you don't want to know what's under these customers.
not a whole lot.
Here's one for
I think you guys are overdressed for the show.
Morgan.
Yeah. I don't think you'll make a I don't think you'll notice a difference unless you are a top-rated seller and you lose the top-rated seller. That's when it hurts.
Yeah.
Your daddy wear those sunglasses to bed too?
Yes, he does. No, what? You've all, well, not all. Most of you have seen him without them. He only wears them on live shows.
Are you guys top-rated sellers on eBay?
At the moment, no.
Currently,
We
no.
lost it last month.
Yeah, we just lost it about a month ago or so. We just had a string of people emailing, you know, and opening cases, you know, and a lot of them, I would say probably half of them, they didn't need to open a case. And they were like, oh, okay, you know, just silly stuff. But we have, I think, like 5 of those defects dropping off at the beginning of the month, next month. So we should have it. We should have it back. But it just sucks because it probably cost us what,
$300 or $400 a month.
probably about an extra $300 to $400, yeah, this month just because we lost our top-rated seller.
Yeah, like I was top rated for a year. Like as soon as they introduced the top rated seller program, I was top rated the whole time. But then I was, what was it? The first 2 months I had a bunch of defects from like March or April, just because they didn't know that the top rated thing was coming, so everybody was opening cases for everything. And then
Just to ask you a question.
once those fell off, I've been top rated. I mean, I went from like 2.04% defect down to 1.18% defect once all that stuff fell off from when people didn't know about it. And now it seems like I'm getting a lot more messages and people trying to get a hold of me and getting around it. So I feel like people are getting, like a lot of the experienced eBayers, they know what's up with the defect. Most people aren't out there to scam you. Most people want to just get their item. And what I'm hearing from you, Chad, I mean, because of your business model, because you're trying to blow this stuff out, and because of the type of items you sell, it seems like you're dealing with a lot more resellers who are probably trying to squeeze every ounce of profit they can out of every item that they're buying. So maybe they're just more engaged with you, and they're causing more problems because of that. And I mean, that's got to be frustrating, but I mean,
it's definitely a niche problem. Absolutely, it's a niche problem, just like the clothing. It's a high return item, and you've got to be able to be set up to accept the returns. And I don't think anybody that's really big into selling clothes has a problem with the returns.
Speaking of, I got a negative today. Thank you, everybody. Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that anybody really has a problem with returns, and I don't. Don't get me wrong. I'm not whining and crying because I don't like returns. I don't like the dishonest buyer, and those are the people I'm having a problem with. And you can tell those are the people because you look at my negative feedbacks, it's all flat out thieves.
Yeah. Well, I've got a story about a bad buyer that was kind of like that. He sends me this message because he bought an Xbox from me, and he's like, the disk stopped reading, like right away. I'm like, okay, go ahead, send it back, I'll fix it. He's like, no, I want a different one. I was like, okay, whatever. So it comes back, And he was like, you need to send it right away. I'm gonna upload tracking and everything. It's like, whatever. So I go ahead and drop it in the mail, drop another one in the mail, just because, like you said, I don't buy these for very much. I fix them myself. I got a little time in them. But if I pay $20 for an Xbox and I sell 10 of them a week for $100 a pop, then I can afford to lose one or two here and there. But this guy, I send him the Xbox, and then he sent me the right one back, but he had cracked it open. And when I say cracked it open, I mean he almost broke it trying to open it. It was half open, and it was just in like a couple of the security tabs were broken off. So I sent pictures to eBay, and I was like, look, this is what happened. But I send the guy a message back. I'm like, I got the Xbox, but I mean, why did you try to force it open like that? I mean, it's broken. I gotta at least charge you for the shipping. And he was like, no, if you do that, I'm gonna make an immediate claim on PayPal for the entire purchase. And I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, I just went ahead and ate it. It was only $15. I fixed the Xbox, so it's not like it was a big deal. I mean, I still sold it, but it was still a little frustrating. But
Do you think that guy would do it if he was standing in front of your face?
No, of course not. But so what? I mean, I don't experience enough of those to let that stuff get me down. And the problem with dealing with that stuff is, it consumes you. I mean, if you fight your customers when they do this, I mean, if it's happening 3 or 4 times a week, yeah, it's an issue. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something going on there. That maybe it's your niche. Maybe it's the kind of people that you have to deal with. Like just over the weekend, I had a PlayStation 2 controller. I sell them all the time. This guy sends me a message and he's like, "Hey man, these 2 buttons don't work." I'm like, "Okay, no problem. I'll send you another one." I go to find his auction so that I could print out another label, and this dude bought it in August, and he's just telling me this like on Saturday, and I didn't even. It was like, okay, whatever. It's a controller that I pay $1 for. I sell them for $12, and half the time I get them for free. So I just put it in a box, printed out another label, and didn't even.
I hear you, but after a certain point with you, it's going to become more about principle than the money. It has nothing to do with money. Nothing. It's with me, I could give a crap. Money's not the issue. It's and some people would say, well, eBay's not the place you should be in. And it's just life in general. I mean, like I said, I think what we're doing is recreating. Not we, but the system is turning good people into bad people, and I don't know if it's the economy that they're trying to get something for nothing, but wow.
Well, I notice whenever I start getting, like, say, if I got somebody asking for a return or a partial, I'll go right in there and look at the comments that they left for others now to see if it's a habit of them saying something about another seller or something.
But see, once they made that email to send you, they've already got it in their mind what they're going to do if you say no.
They have their own little plan.
If you get a message like that, you might as well consider if you say no, and that's where my frustration is, because I already know when it happens. And as soon as it gets it, that's why so many people cringe now when they hear the eBay message instead of being excited. I don't think there's a single person here that sells a decent amount of items now that doesn't kind of have a little cringe when they get an eBay message.
Oh, I'll tell you what, man. Every time I see a comment when I wake up to 2 or 3 comments on my sold items page, my heart does skip a beat. I'm like, okay, what is it now?
It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, you're
right. Has it
right.
been like that in the past? No.
Not really, no.
So that's what I'm saying. There's been a momentum shift here. And it's not a good one. It's not my favorite.
It's been changed over quite a bit. I think back in the day, eBay used to really encourage people to work out their differences through messages.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're not encouraging that, which really sucks. I just really wish they would be kind of the third party like they used to be, and just kind of be on the sidelines, to where if somebody has an issue, you're arguing back and forth, or they can't resolve it.
Leave a negative until they mention
Yeah,
you for one.
I don't think that button should be even an option. Leave a negative feedback. I think it should be like, bing, you cannot leave feedback until you communicate with the seller first.
Like the negative feedback we got today, it said shipping method was horrible.
Shipping method.
They live in Hawaii. They purchased it the same day that it shipped.
Right.
But it took a long time to get to them because it was Hawaii and it was a big item.
And now,
And now I have a negative feedback.
and the biggest problem, I even sent them a message during their live announcement of these methods. I asked them that. I said, don't you think this is going to encourage sellers to not give very good, customer service? Because what's happening now is I get a negative. Now what's this? How?
I have no desire now to give them a partial refund or anything of the nature just to make them happy.
Right. Why would I
Because
email
why
them
would
now
I?
and say, hey, how about I give you $10? I'm sorry, I had no control over that. Why would I do that now? Because the negative's still going to count even if they remove it as a defect.
Yeah. I got a negative feedback last week. It was totally my fault. I sent the guy the wrong item. It was one of those for dummies thing. I glanced at it, and I just shipped it, or I grabbed it too fast and grabbed the wrong book. But the guy left me a negative, and I was like, man, well, I'm getting the ding. But, I screwed up, so I went ahead and got in touch with him. Hey, if you agree to reverse the feedback.
Did he get in touch with you? It's the question saying, dude, you sent me the wrong book.
Exactly.
Well, screw him then.
That made me mad. But, it was my fault in that case.
Well, it's your fault, so
You're human.
Right.
I think Chad's point.
But he immediately changed his feedback when I sent him the right item.
It's the principle. It's the principle. It has nothing to do with money.
But yeah, I still have the
If you
ding.
know what to do, then that's all there is to it. You're screwed in the beginning. You got yourself a bad apple when you accepted that, when he hit that buy button. Well, maybe not him, but just the way he deals with a problem is pathetic.
Yeah. Well, some buyers I don't think they really understand. Some of them do, and some of them know exactly what they're doing, but some of them don't really understand how impactful a negative feedback is, or a neutral feedback is for a seller, and how much it really affects their business. So, if they perceive it as a bad transaction, then they're just gonna go ahead and do it. And anytime I get a negative feedback, I try and get with the seller, and or the buyer, and I'm just like, hey, I really want your eBay experience to be good. I understand you're frustrated. Try and, just do the customer service spiel just to try to make them feel like, wow, this guy really cares. And even if the ding is still there for my defect rating, at least I'll still be able to get that negative feedback off most of the time. I mean, a lot of times I had this lady, she's sent me a negative feedback for a computer game that I sold her for $5. And all it was, she sends me or she just leaves a feedback. It's like, please help me. It stopped at 64% install, and that was the negative feedback. So, I mean, I sent this lady a message, and she never even got back to me. The negative feedback is still there. But, I mean, stuff like that is really frustrating when they're just like, it's a zero feedback person, probably brand new to eBay, and it was some stupid little $5 item that you would have just sent the freaking feedback, or I would have just refunded her immediately, like, hey, I'm sorry, full refund, and not even thought another thing about it, or tried to walk her through it if she would have let me, because I probably could have got her figured out. But that's just part of dealing online. You're gonna get that every once in a while, and every time that stuff happens, I look at my sales. I'm like, man, out of the last 100 sales, one person has made a big deal, and try to stay positive that way.
Yeah, I guess I can see how this could be a problem. Like the Gill says, how much money they're losing on it because, they were set up and doing top rated. I guess because I've never really, I was probably in the top rated group for like a month. I just expect to pay the fees that I am going to pay right now as above standard or whatever the other, higher rating is.
Yeah.
So I really don't worry when somebody dings me for something, as long as it's not going to get my account blocked. I have the same principle. If they're trying to be a crook, I'm going to fight them tooth and nail, whether I get a negative or not.
Yeah.
It's just the way I'm set up to do business, though. So I haven't really noticed any problems that I haven't been experiencing before.
Well, here's how I
I
handle
don't
my
get much returns, but I do get the negatives and neutrals.
Yeah, I have my top-rated setup, like, well, you don't even see what the bonus or what the discount is until you have to pay your invoice anyway. So I look at it as a bonus. If I got top rated that month, that's just extra money in my pocket. I don't count on it, because if you count on it and you factor it in, then you might get screwed. And I mean, if it's an extra $100 in my pocket or $200 or whatever, then great. And if I don't get it, I already factored in spending that money on my fees. So I mean,
Right.
just
That's
the way
good.
I'm operating.
Yeah,
But
and I mean,
still-
my thing is low stress. I try not to get stressed about this shit, you know.
Start selling a good amount. I mean, and to where your top-rated seller is saving you $300-400 a month, and then lose it, and then see if you have the same thing, because that money is not in your pocket, and if you lose it because of stupid stuff like
Right. Well,
I don't
I
know.
understand that part. You know, that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, nobody wants to lose money.
Yeah, it's one thing to like blow off $100, but if you're getting up to you're getting up in the Gillmoney, you know, their stuff. It's not so much the fact. Yeah, it's the money, but it's why that you don't have that money.
That's
Why
what
it's not in your
Stack
pocket.
it.
That's where your
It's not like I
problem
didn't make any money.
shit is
I used to always see it. Yeah, it's just a bonus. But I've had that bonus for a long freaking
Yeah, we've
time.
been top rated for a couple years now, and
And-
it's just frustrating
and
to lose it over stupid stuff.
Yeah, and it used to be like you could work it out with the buyer, get things removed, and everything was good, you know, because you're working it out, you're providing good customer service. Now,
I have no desire to provide good customer service anymore unless they email me first.
now it's kind of like, well, you already gave me a defect, dude. What do you want me to do about it now? I'm not helping you. You know, whatever. Go
I
away.
flat out got in a fight with one guy. He opened a case, and he said, well, I told him, I was like, you know what, honestly, I would have worked with you and paid your return shipping and all this and that, but now a negative feedback isn't even going to hurt me.
Yeah.
I have absolutely no desire to help you now because you opened a case, because it was for a Salad King. And they said, oh, it won't suction to our countertop anymore. The suction cup's bad. So they sent it back to us. We stuck it to our counter and left it there for a freaking week, and it didn't come up.
Yeah, there was
nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong.
They probably didn't moisten it or something, or, you know, lick it.
But it worked for him, so he sent it back. And I refused to pay their return shipping after they sent it back because I was pissed off because they already gave me a defect. I ain't going to work with them. And he
Probably had a tile countertop or something for the grout line.
And I
I
guarantee
ended up giving him some money back. He compromised. He's like, well, can you pay half my shipping and then I won't leave you negative feedback? And he
I said, fine, leave the feedback before I give you the money.
yeah, and we gave him
Which
like,
I know is against the rules, but I was, I don't care.
but he already did the feedback hostage thing with us, so he was already being against the rules. And I'm
Did
just
you
like,
call eBay about it?
No.
Let me ask you guys a question.
Anytime that somebody mentions feedback for something else,
Oh, I know, but that is
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
it still wasn't going to take
get
it
it removed.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a question here. Do you think for 1 minute, okay, you know how like Walmart, you can take anything back to Walmart. It's like I don't know, a big turnstile to where, you know, just you can take anything back, right? Do you think if Walmart, every item that got returned to Walmart, do you think that the state fined them $50 for every item that gets returned? Do you think that they're not going to start checking every little thing about that item that's getting returned and then fighting it like, I'm sorry, no, you can't return this?
Yeah,
And then Walmart's going to get a shit name for customer service, right? It's the outside forces that's causing the good sellers to cop attitudes and not give as good a customer service because of outside forces. You know, it's not about the customer, and it's not about the buyer and the seller. It's about eBay, the buyer, and the seller now, and it's not working.
And eBay is also
And it sucks. And I hate that.
Well, I'm just saying.
This whole defect thing is the main reason we're transferring over more to Amazon.
Right, and Walmart, see, it's no skin off their ass because they can factor in these returns that they're getting. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It's just but if some reason, an outside circumstance all of a sudden starts, you know, dinging them for every single return they get, to where it's not making it a good financial thing to take all these returns, no questions asked, no this, no that. They're going to change it, and they're going to start being anal, and then their customer service, well, their customer service level sucks anyway. But you see what I'm saying? That's how it goes to pot. It's not whether we're good sellers or crook sellers, because crook sellers will not last on eBay, and most of us have been on there for years and years and years, and now all of a sudden there's a freaking problem.
eBay is so worried about the good customer experience, you providing a good customer experience, and with making it so easy on the customer to do this and that, but in turn it makes it harder on us, and puts us in a position to where, you know, why do I need to give good customer service? Because as soon as they ask a question, defect, it makes us more suspicious on each little message. Like, I get a message, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, it's just items ending that I'm watching. Yeah, cool. But the other messages, it's like, oh, hell.
Yeah.
I already got a defect now. Why should I do this?
How can I screenshot something without showing the seller?
I think you have to print
Or the
screen,
buyer.
copy and paste into Paint, and like crop it and everything.
Yeah, but if it takes up more,
We're still going to sell on eBay. We're still going to make money. In the end, our conversation does absolutely nothing until eBay just pulls their head out of their ass.
Well, that's the
Right.
best way to get eBay to stop or to start listening to the sellers more, is to start selling somewhere else and get fewer and fewer people. When they start losing sellers in a pretty dramatic way, then they're going to notice. Like my sales, since I started doing Amazon, I went from doing $6,000 a month on eBay to now I think I'm on track to do like $4,500 this month at the most. But I mean, that's like my sales are down, and it's the first month of fourth quarter. But I mean, my first month of Amazon, I did over $1,500 there, so it made up for it, you know. And now I'm just, as I move more into Amazon, then eBay's going to notice. At least if enough people do that, they're going to notice all these sellers that were doing, you know, all these really good numbers, and they were getting their cut of that. And then now their numbers are all dropping. That's going to affect their sales and the kind of money that they're making. You know what I mean?
Right. That's when it's gonna
Arbitrage,
change.
if I remember right, I don't think you'll lose your top rated. I think you'll lose your top rated plus by not doing the 90-day returns.
Right. Yeah, you're still going to be top rated, but whatever the top rated plus does, I think they say that it gives you extra, like, search boosts or something like that.
And money.
Oh, is it more money? It's a bigger discount?
And congratulations on your best month.
That's awesome, man.
Oh, that's not my best month. That was just
Brian.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure, Brian.
It's in the chat. Yeah, he didn't say anything. We're not mind readers.
No, but yeah, I like Amazon quite a bit, but you know, you still gotta. eBay's still there, and I'm still way more comfortable with that, and you know, just don't have enough experience on Amazon.
Right. I agree. I mean, I think you're right. I think that's what's gonna, you know, and eBay's making a lot of changes right now. They're gonna get, you know, have they got a new person there yet?
I haven't heard of one being up yet.
I don't think he was like officially stepping down until like.
I thought he like resigned or something.
June of next year.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I mean, I think when that happens, we might see some changes. But it's all about numbers in the end, just like it's all about numbers with us. And I think as a business, they're going to step back and look and go, geez.
Oh, sorry.
Oops. Oh, you know, geez, why did we go way down? Well, like you said, if sellers are going, oh, I can sell on Amazon and shifting their focus, and like us, we used to do consistently, you know, $8,500 to $12,000 a month, every single month, and then we started doing Amazon, and now, I mean, I think our best month in the last 3 months was when we did that challenge, just because we were trying to push eBay. And now this month we haven't been pushing eBay as much anymore.
We haven't worked at all this month. It's like the last 20 days we've literally probably listed like 20 things.
I've been focused on other things, and plus we had a lot of stuff going on. But that's why, is because I'm shifting my focus into other avenues that's going to make me money.
Posted a link in the chat for you guys. I found something at the Weigh and Pay that kind of surprised me when I looked it up. Almost unbelievable. But if you could take a look at that, tell me what you think.
It's is it one of the ones that has the commercial skip?
Yeah, it's like commercial skip and movie advance and stuff.
Yeah, those commercial skip VCRs are awesome. We have one right now too that we have listed at FBM.
Yeah, it's got that special drum on it and all that. It's like top of the line for JVC.
This thing originally was $675 retail back when in the VCR days, and they're still selling for like $400 apparently.
That's awesome. Yeah, some of
That's
those will
awesome.
surprise the heck out of you, man. And I used to pass them up.
And it's
all the
crazy because
time.
sometimes you'll grab the ones that are super freaking light,
Mm-hmm.
and then you look them up and you're like, oh, this one's gonna be crap, and you're like, wow, $80. Thank you for $5.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to me, but with another. I picked up 2 or 3 VCRs the other day, but that particular one, there are 2 of them on FBA and none merchant fulfilled right now. And I was thinking about sending it into FBA, but I know you don't like to do that. Is there? I mean, are the fees just that high, or I mean, this is something that probably would sit for 6 months.
No, the fee isn't that high. It's like a buck something a month, which isn't horrible.
We'll get your FBA fees.
But
more.
the problem with sending those in to FBA is you already have to package them up like you're going to ship them. So why send them in and pay the shipping to send them in and pay the fees to send them in when if you list it for $50 less, you aren't going to pay those FBA fees, and you already have it boxed up to ship.
I think you'd have to try it, really. I can't really speak from experience because I just choose not to send them in. I think you'd have to send some in and see if they sell faster.
But I have to sell some
There
merchant
is a
fulfilled
difference
for.
in pricing.
Yeah, before I know if it sells faster, I'll have to get some merchant fulfilled experience. Because I mean, I've literally my first sale on Amazon was within the last 30 days. I mean, I think I just hit this weekend. I got out of my 30-day window for working on Amazon, and I haven't done anything. I haven't sold anything merchant fulfilled yet.
Yeah.
So here's a thing with you guys were talking about negative feedbacks and whatnot. This person, the story behind it, I picked up from Walgreens these inflatable dogs for Halloween.
Okay. You
I
sure?
sold a bunch of them. I was trying to get them out in a timely fashion, and I accidentally left this little sticker that said $19.99 on them. Because I was trying to do it regardless how exhausted I was that day, just to get them out. And basically, she called up Amazon, and she's like, I paid $45.50 with shipping for this order, but item box was marked $19.99. This is unacceptable practice, and I will be leaving negative feedback for the seller.
What a moron.
So do they think that the sellers on Amazon are trying to not make profit? Is that what they believe?
I don't think they understand, fully understand that it's people that are selling these things. I think there's a disconnect somewhere that they don't get that we're individual people who happen to sell items as our way of life or whatever. It's like they don't get it. It's like she thinks that was sold by Walgreens or wherever it was from with a jacked up price. I mean, I fully believe that's what's going on in their heads.
That's one of the catch-22s about Amazon is you're completely disconnected from the customer, and there's no real way for you to do anything about something if they're not happy with it. But when I'm outsourcing, I see stuff all the time new in the package that it'll have $1 written printed as part of the cover, and then I'll scan it just for the heck of it, and it'll be, you know, $10 or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't think I'm gonna send something like that into FBA.
I just posted the link, guys, of this seller I was telling you about that did the bait and switch. Look at the feedback he leaves for buyers. Tell me that there's not an issue.
That to you?
Oh my God. Wow. One positive? That is a person that you need to be. Did you report them?
No, yeah, I reported them, and it's still open. They won't.
And
This is the CR I got back. If you guys look at my listing, I had a sticker up here. I had a sticker up here. I had a sticker right here. Oh, I had a sticker right here. That one of those energy wave stickers, and that the serial number and the model number sticker is gone.
Are you serious?
Oh my gosh.
Did you send pictures to eBay? Were they
Yeah,
not?
I did. I said he sent me back the same item. This is what this guy does.
I even see right here on those things that says a bunch of them saying offered full refund, but buyer refused to send item back. So you know he's keeping the crap.
And what it is the ones that he refuses to send back are the ones that he doesn't have a piece of crap to send back. Like this one, by chance, he must have had one sitting on a shelf, but he kept my remote. It's just that's the frustrating stuff. That's why I'm in this like mode right now. It's
So you put all those security stickers on it, so people can't do that?
well, I didn't put security stickers on this one, but the security stickers, it doesn't.
If it comes back with the serial number peeled off, it is pretty freaking obvious what this guy is doing. I mean,
That's but look at the name of the guy. Tampa Electronics are us.
Dude.
Here, let me.
I just want the name to go out there because I don't want to get freaking sued for defamation.
Yeah.
If it hits that far.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
This one's going on my block list.
So, Chad, they're not selling anything on eBay, are they?
No, they're probably a pawn store or an electronics store that.
He's got feedback as seller. He's got a bunch of negatives. It's just older.
You should just go to their house and kick their ass, Chad.
Yeah, you should just. It's in Tampa, right?
No, it's not in
Go see
Tampa.
where they sell and see if your freaking VCR's sitting in their little pawn shop.
Yeah.
It's not in Tampa. It's up like in Connecticut or something like that.
You know, the other thing you could do is you can report them for mail fraud.
Oh, sorry, Eric. I didn't hear you talking at first. I guarantee they're just taking what they need to make a repair, and then, you know what I mean? If it's a repair, like
Exactly what I'm saying. This is the type of folks that we're dealing with that gives us good sellers a chip on our shoulder. It's not about the money. It's all about the. Oh, and check this out.
Yeah.
When he
It wasn't
sent
about
it
the
back,
money, it wouldn't even matter.
he contacted me outside of eBay and said he was sending it back, and he sent me the tracking number and everything. All this was done outside of eBay. So once it shows that I got it, he went in and opened the case and put that tracking number in it, so it automatically showed it was shipped and delivered. It was just all of a sudden he's got this big full-blown case, and it shows that he did everything, and there was no opportunity for me to even answer because as soon as it showed it was delivered, it should have automatically refunded him. But for some reason, I was able to hit report buyer, and it took me through this different report buyer thing, and it actually allowed me to select all this, add pictures, and everything else. So I did, and it's still open.
Have you called eBay to follow up yet?
Haven't called yet. That's what I said on the Pickers Church. I'm going to see how this turns out. This is kind of an experiment. I mean, it's blatant. It's so clear. It's pathetic. And if for some reason eBay sides with him and gives him his money, like I said, I could give a crap about the money. I'll be out the money for a little bit or whatever, just on principle. But I want to see how eBay handles this.
Because that's somebody who needs to be off of eBay. Like
Exactly.
Did you take a screenshot of the stuff that he sent outside of eBay and reply to the case with uploading of that screenshot?
No, the only thing that he says is, this item does not work, the remote does not work for it, I'm returning it. And he sends me the tracking number outside of eBay, which I think what's happened is, the reason why he's doing outside of eBay is because he's got so many complaints and stuff. The more complaints he gets on it, what he's doing, he's trying to probably take it as far as he could take it until, you know, and...
So, did you say you haven't contacted eBay yet?
I haven't called them yet.
Well, make sure you have those emails pulled up too, because you're not supposed to contact outside of eBay.
Yeah, they wanted to do the whole return outside of eBay.
Well, that's funny that they're not supposed to contact outside of eBay, because I have a negative feedback that said seller would not respond to emails and item does not work. Opened a case instantly. I never heard from them. I checked all my emails. I checked my eBay messages. I called eBay to see if something may have somehow got deleted. They said, no, he hasn't contacted you through eBay. I said, then can I get this removed? And she said, we can't do that because we don't know if he contacted you outside of eBay.
Doesn't matter.
That's not right. When that happens, you should ask to talk to.
I talked to 3 different people, and they all said
right
the
away
same
because
thing.
I wasn't contacted in eBay.
It doesn't matter if he says that he responded or didn't respond. It doesn't matter. That's the whole key. eBay doesn't care if they're not going to. They're not going to address that. They're not going to say, "Well, I did too. Try to." I mean, so you did respond to him. That still doesn't change anything.
Right, because they're going to side with the buyer.
Exactly.
When I got off the phone, she was like, is there anything else I can help you with today? I said, no, I'm a buyer. I'm pretty sure it's your policy not to help us. And hung up.
Yeah.
She told her she hadn't helped me yet.
Right. But then I didn't see any sales for like 2 weeks after that, so I think maybe I should have kept my mouth shut.
Yeah.
Always keep your mouth shut. It's always best for business.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to. I know. And trust me, I'm not as bad as. I don't jump all over my customers. I'm just kind of frustrated right now dealing with idiots. But no, I'm the first one to take care of my customers. I mean, I think we are. That's not the issue, and it's not the. It's just the. They're coming out of the woodwork, and.
Well, a customer is a customer. I don't mind taking care of them. A scammer is a whole other thing.
It sounds to me, Chad, like you're just getting frustrated because you just got hit by, like, all of a sudden, all in the same week, by this kind of, 2 or 3 dudes who just...
Yeah. It's since this started, and I'm blaming it on all that, on all this big change, because we never had a problem. I mean, it just has not been a problem, and it's just they've made it easier for people to take advantage of good sellers, and it's just really frustrating.
Yeah, I think that they're going to have to, as this stuff moves on, I think they're going to find ways to help the sellers, especially as we become more vocal and more of this stuff gets out there where they get to see it, and more of us start calling them and telling them, hey, this is a problem. I think they're going to find ways to fix that so that it's easier for them to kind of go after the buyers, the bad buyers that do have histories, that are doing...
well, why is this guy still on here? I mean, you're telling me this guy has this many issues with purchases. I mean, talk about me as a seller. It's like one out of, you know, so much.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy.
eBay should definitely have a problem with this
Well,
guy.
There's not that
That's
many
all part of calling
sellers.
eBay and actually talking to somebody. You can express your opinion of this and ask them, hey, why is this guy still here? Look at look at all his negatives that he's left for people, because he might just be slipping through the cracks, you know, as the computer's trolling eBay. But when you get a person that looks at it, all it takes is that right person to go, yeah, this isn't a good guy for our company, and next thing you know, he'll be gone.
Yeah, and I will. Like I said, I'm seeing how this one plays out, doing what a typical eBay seller would do by reporting the buyer. I'm skeptical about this report buyer. You know, I want to know if that is really does anything. I mean,
no, it doesn't. It doesn't do anything except if you get the other people that had those negative feedbacks on them to report as
And
well.
we've done that before. We've contacted other people that sellers had like that, or buyers like that had left negative feedback. And we're like,
well,
look.
I'm sure there's hundreds of other sellers, and some of them are probably like me that would report. I mean,
Well, you've got the links to all those stores in the feedback profile.
yeah, but I'm not going to go contacting them. I'm not doing that. I'm doing what I need to
We've
do.
done it, and we've had buyers removed doing it.
Yeah, I've done it. I'd be like, hey, this guy scammed me, I think. This is what happened. Did you have a similar situation? And most of the time, they'll email back right away and be like, yep, I did. And I ask them, did you report the buyer? And if they didn't, I tell them, go in there and report them. Because the same thing happened to me. This guy needs to
And
stop.
what's to say it hasn't happened to all these other people they left negative feedback for?
Yep.
But it's going to benefit them in the long run, too, because if that buyer gets reported, eBay will remove all the negative feedbacks that they
Yeah,
left.
they'll remove the negative feedbacks that they left.
Yeah, I wouldn't rely on electronic reporting because all that's doing is going into the computer system of eBay. I'd get on the phone with somebody and follow up. I wouldn't rely on that electronic reporting.
And I will. As soon as that, you know, I mean, I'm going to find out what's going to happen with this case, you know, and it's still open. And
Well, the problem you're going to have is if they close it, you're done.
no, the hell I am.
Well, it depends on the case, because I had 2 defects removed completely a couple weeks ago because both of them were, where's my item cases? And
I've
then
already got the defect.
both of them got shut down before I had anything I could do. I called eBay, they removed both of them because both the items were received within the time frame and were not lost items or whatever.
Yeah. Well, anyway, try to get off the subject a little bit since it seems like people are getting pretty amped about this. We hit 100 subscribers on my channel this weekend, so I know we're supposed to do what little giveaway or something. Is that what the rule is, Chad? When you hit 100 subscribers on your channel?
You get something away to all members on board.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do a haul video. Well, not a haul video, but I'm gonna be doing a giveaway video later. So keep an eye out for that. Just to let you guys know what I'm giving away. I found this steamer. I actually found 2 steamers in one day. I only needed 1, which is why I grabbed it in the first place. But instead of selling it on eBay, I'm just gonna give it away, just because I know there are a lot of people out there that can use something like this, especially if they're just getting started. But
You're supposed to give something away to everyone on the panel.
What is it you're giving away?
It's a clothing steamer.
Oh, cool.
Cool.
Yeah, and it works really well. I tested it out, and I mean, if I would be using it myself if I hadn't bought 2 of them on the same day. But yeah.
We're actually going to call up on a warehouse today. I think I'm finally just going to do it. There's a warehouse for like $4.50 a month. It's basically like a 4-bay shop with a bathroom and a bath, shower. I went and looked at the outside of it, and it's actually really nice.
$4.50 a month, can't complain.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can complain. That's $4.50 out of your pocket.
Because it's a write-off.
Splitting it with a couple other people though, so technically it's even after internet and heating and all of that, it's only about $200 a month. And get rid of our storage bill.
Is
Yeah.
it a write-off though?
Or so after that gets taken off, it's only $130 a month.
That's better if you're. Oh, I didn't know you had storage.
But that's a tax write-off too, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah.
We write off our storage right now too. So.
Yeah, technically it's probably going to reduce my amount of write-offs, which is not good. Or it might be around the same. I don't know. It's going to reduce it because right now with our garage, it pulls out a percentage of what we pay for our house, a percentage for utilities, or a percentage for our trash, all that stuff. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But we're going to be a lot more efficient.
And
we're
a
gonna
lot
have
less stressed.
a lot more area to work with. A lot, just easier to ship.
Still going to work out of your home, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, you still got some of that write-off at the home.
Yeah, we could have like an office space and stuff like that.
Because I have a studio, like right off the lease and all that, but I also have my office here, and this is where I spend most of my time doing my work, so this is the major write-off.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big chunk of your mortgage payment every month going towards your office, right? Basically with the write-off.
Well, it's 75% of my business is actually run out of my home office, so I'm allowed more of a write-off.
Yeah. I'm seriously considering looking around for a warehouse just because I think that I need one. And, I mean, there's so much warehouse space that's opened up in my area that would be kind of nice. But I don't think I could run it by myself out of a warehouse. I would definitely need to start thinking about hiring people and at least one or two guys to help out. But, I mean, it would be pretty cool to know that my stuff was going up on getting listed and getting shipped out to Amazon while I'm out picking. I just feel like it would be so much more productive on the parts that you.
Yeah, and I think for us it's going to make us more efficient because if we have to go to work, I think we'll be more likely to work because if we go out sourcing and then we go there, we're already going to be there, so we may as well list all the crap we got for the day and get the packages shipped out from there and get our Amazon stuff inventoried and all that crap. So
I'm going to be splitting it with my sister and my brother-in-law because he's losing his job here in the next month or two, and he's going to be going full-time. He's already doing eBay, just started doing Amazon, and we're going to be splitting it. So it's going to be a lot easier. We're going to have one person take all the packages down instead of all of us having to do it separately. So we're going to kind of be on the same schedule. I think it's going to be nice.
I will say this though, for the people that are watching, make sure before you get a warehouse that you're ready to absorb that overhead.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, it could be devastating.
Well, that's the thing. You have to be sure that it's the amount of money you're going to make because you've got a warehouse is going to justify the expense. But, I mean, if you double or triple your sales because all of a sudden you can, and it only costs, if I could triple my sales by getting a warehouse, hiring one or two guys that just list all day while I'm outsourcing, then it would be justifiable if it only cost me, double or whatever. I don't know. You got to run the numbers and do the math and all that. But
yeah, having a warehouse, I mean, it was probably one of my better decisions only because it helped my marriage tenfold, getting all the crap out of my house.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. It's definitely better. I mean, I talked to Ronnie about him making the decision to get a warehouse, and he said that his sales have increased. Nothing's changed except his space. And I've noticed that, and I think all of us have noticed that. Have you ever, when we first started out years and years ago, it was a small little office with shelves. And then we moved into our garage and our sales tripled. So it wasn't the fact that we had more people working for us or any of that. It was just the fact that we were more efficient because we had more space. But, yeah, I mean...
This will be great because now when he's irritated with me or I'm irritated with him, we go in the garage and work on your stupid truck.
Yeah, I can actually go play with my toys now and bring all my welder and all my tools back out.
Yeah, that would be the biggest thing for me is I think you'd be able to get into a lot bigger stuff, and I would definitely become a lot more efficient even if I didn't hire anybody and I just had everything organized better because you start to get your piles of stuff, and you kind of start to forget what you have a little bit, and then, I
Yep.
mean, moving everything. Remember, I'd be finding stuff that I forgot about, or being able to take the stuff that there's no way I would ever try to sell it and just get rid of it, and
Yep.
just help get everything organized.
I mean, at this point, we are literally garage door to wall with shelves in our garage. We are out of room. We
Yeah.
just went and bought 3 new shelves at Home Depot or Lowe's day before yesterday. $150 for those stupid shelves. But we are literally out of room.
I guess if I
Well, the other thing I would suggest is somebody actually looking for a real warehouse space. My brother and I have a storage facility, and I used to keep my stuff in there, but it's a lot more aggravating than it is with an actual warehouse. And I found that the warehouse, other than I was obviously getting free storage, but if I was going to go pay for it, I have 1,000 square feet that's insulated. It's not heated, but it has electricity, and it's only $290 a month. I'd be paying a lot more than that for, a storage unit, and it's not as well sealed. It's not insulated, so you have no kind of climate control. And usually they're not, secure as well as a warehouse is when you're in a bigger area. So I would just say, search around. Warehouses aren't as expensive as somebody might think compared to a self-storage unit.
Right. And it's all about location. And then the one thing about the businesses that we run is we don't have to be on a main street. We don't have to be a real accessible area. The one I'm looking at is like, it's hard to even find. It's like a little square in between a whole bunch of stuff. It's not even accessible. Like, you can't even see it. It looks like it's behind somebody's house, but it's not. It's like it's got its own little property. And those are the kind of like places that are very inexpensive because they're not on a main street. They're not getting that traffic, so they can't get those higher prices for it. You can find a place very, very inexpensive if you look for places like that.
Well, the place that I was looking at, I've actually got a friend who he owns a commercial building, and he's got this basement with a bunch of fishing tackle in there from a old store that closed. And we've just been kind of trying to figure out a way to do the deal because I don't really want to sell the stuff for him and on consignment. I'd rather, be able to just buy his inventory. But anyway, this fishing store closed. He was behind 6 months on rent, so we let my buddy keep everything. So it's all down in this basement now. And this basement is like at least 1,500 square feet, I would say. It's huge. And the only problem is you have to take stairs to get in and out, and it's kind of a pain. But, I mean, it's not heated. I don't know about the bathroom situation. I've been in there just to look around and stuff, but, I mean, he's got all this product that I could start selling right away. Plus, there's way more room than I would need just to get everything else done. But, I mean, and he has no interest in trying to find anybody else to take the place over. But I mean, if I can get into that place for like $500 a month, I think I'm gonna do it. I just have to sit down and really talk to him, and we haven't talked numbers yet. That's the biggest thing that worries me because I know what he charges for all the other spaces in his building. And I mean, he's got, we're talking, he's got spaces in that building that are like $3,000 a month, but he knows that he can't rent that out to anybody else. So maybe if I can get it that cheap, it'd be pretty good. But
you're going to want drive-up access, man.
I know. That's
somebody that, pulls up with box trucks and stuff sometimes, you're not going to want to do those stairs. The first trip you do with like 100 boxes of shit, you'll be tired of them. I'm telling you.
That's the biggest reason why I haven't really pulled the trigger on this place yet. It's because of those stairs. Just not being able to walk in. I really
now,
would
as
like.
far as clearing it out, tell them that you can't set a price on any of it. Put it in lots, 99 cent, no reserve. Cut him 70%, put 30% in your pocket, and you'll be good to go on that. As long as he agrees to, if he doesn't really know what the value is, then you'll clear all that shit out in no time.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about it, like all the different options that we have with it, and it is what it is. Unless I'm going to move in there, I don't really want to do any of that stuff, or I don't want to deal with any of that because, like you said, I'd be putting it up for 99-cent auctions. Maybe I'd be lotting stuff up, selling 30 crankbaits in a box, or selling 20 old fishing reels in a box, or whatever. I'd have to either do a lot of research and get to know the business, or just get a dollar or two or pennies on the dollar trying to sell it to somebody that knows what the stuff is worth just by looking at it. And
Yeah.
You'd be amazed at what auctions will do at 99 cents with that kind of stuff. And if he's not worried about the money, you know what I mean? It'd be a quick way for you to turn and burn on a lot of that stuff, just doing it in box lots.
yeah, I filled up a box basically while I was down there talking to him the first time. Told him that I was going to take it home, see how the stuff did, and I did just that. 99-cent auctions. I did like 3 different lots. I just fit them in a flat rate envelope. Whatever I could fit in a flat rate envelope, I shipped out, and I mean nothing went for more than like $5 or $10 plus shipping. I mean, it was really, I was disappointed. So I mean, I told him that, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that sucks." And you know, we're both kind of like, we're not sure if that's what we want to do, but
Well, maybe the guy left nothing but crap in there.
yeah, but it's gonna be nothing but crap when to him when I move in too. You know, all the stuff that I'm bringing isn't gonna be anything that he knows, but. So,
The biggest thing, though, if anybody's going to get a warehouse, yeah, it's definitely, I mean, what Jake was saying, you know, just make sure that your budget can afford it. Like don't go out saying, I'm going to make more and then I'll be able to afford it. You know, if it's going to cost you $500 a month, you better be making, you know, you better have an extra $500 every single month laying around already. You know, and that's kind of, when we're making that step, it's because we're making, you know, just awesome money with eBay and Amazon together. And it's like, it's not even going to put a dent in our income. It's like nothing. So I mean, if you have that, if you're making $5 grand, $6 grand a month on eBay, and you want to expand, and you got that $500, $600 extra a month, taking the utilities into mine as well, like internet and stuff like that. But if it doesn't put a dent in your income, you might as well do it. You know, it's going to make you more money and make your business grow.
Well, that and insurance. Once you move that stuff out of your house, you're going to need insurance. Especially, you know, that warehouse burns down, there goes your whole business.
Right. That's cheap as hell. I mean, I used to carry $1 million insurance policy on my tool business, and it's dirt cheap.
right.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. The mall that I'm in, you know, I've had some pretty serious thefts out of there, a couple grand at a time. And my insurance always covers it, but out of 300 dealers, you know, I was talking with the owner, he thinks about 20 of them have insurance. That's it. It kind of surprised me how many people would put their stuff out there like that and not put insurance on it, being as cheap as it is, like you said.
It's not just insurance on your stuff, though. You have to insure the place for the landlord that you're renting or leasing from. I have to have a $3 million policy on my studio.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that just depends on the landlord.
Somebody gets hurt in your place, you have to be able to insure the landlord so they don't get sued or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Robin,
Yeah.
is your house clean?
Nope. I'm an eBayer. What can I say? There's stuff everywhere.
Ew, stop that.
Right on. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see it. I definitely want to hear about how much. I mean, I'm sure once you get moved into your warehouse and you start working, we're going to hear all about how much your sales improved even more. But that'll be.
It's like a job to me. If I have to go out to someplace to work, I could have done that. Got a paycheck. I'd rather just be able to wake up out of bed and roll over to work.
Right.
Yeah, I still work from home. I just use the warehouse for inventory. All the current stuff that's listed is actually still at my house.
Yeah, and I agree. When I get to the stage like Gillmoney's, when you have that much crap in your house, I may want to do something like that. But right now, I'm still on a livable level.
The other thing that I was thinking about is I have a lot of storage units in my area, and I mean a lot of different variety of storage units too. And there are storage units that are like inside, climate controlled, Wi-Fi, everything. And I was considering like just getting a laptop and keeping a laser printer in the unit, and then just offering directly out of the storage unit. But I don't know how. I haven't really talked to any storage unit owners to see if that's something that's feasible on their end and what kind of things I would have to consider to make that work.
Yeah, I thought of that a long time ago, trying to find some sort of storage unit to work out of, but after I started factoring in everything, am I going to have access to water? Is there going to be a bathroom? I need water. I need water to clean my items. I don't want to have to bring items home to clean them and then go back to my storage unit. There's just so many things that I need to have access to right there in that location. And if I don't, it's actually more of a hassle. The only thing it's doing for me really is getting the stuff out of my garage.
Yeah.
I had to have something that would have water, that would have, of course, power, climate control, internet. I mean, all those things have to be there in place. If not, it's causing me to work harder to make my money.
True.
I need a refrigerator and a bed too. So.
Yeah, I got to have somewhere for my beer.
That's right. Yeah, one of the reasons why I started the morning show is just because of what we were just talking about with waking up in the morning and having something to do. I feel like the more structured everything is, and the more structured your day is, the more productive you become, and if you got something right away, first thing in the morning to rely on, and something that you just got to do every morning, then it makes your whole day more productive.
Definitely.
Did you guys get any killer scores over the weekend? Did you do much sourcing?
We've gone shopping once this month.
Yeah.
Like I said, we have literally done nothing this month.
So
after all the getting the group set up and all the other crap we're working on right now, after that listing challenge last month, we did Amazon and eBay for listing challenges. We were like, it's time for a break.
It's a vacation.
It's pretty much this is our vacation of the year, so
yeah.
It's just a staycation. We're staying at home and just not working.
Yeah, sounds like you definitely deserve it after your last month, though. Insane. What about you, Robin? What did you find this weekend? Didn't even get a chance to get
What
you.
did I find this weekend? Not much, really. I didn't go out except for yesterday. I went to the Goodwill and I got some clothes. That was it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I posted up a little haul video over the weekend. I was trying to keep it sane, trying not to pick up too much stuff. So I just limited myself to $30 and went out to see what I could find, and I did okay.
That's definitely my problem, and I keep listening to you guys talk about getting storage and stuff. And it's got to a point to where I won't get stuff that I know that I can make money on simply because of my space problem.
Yeah.
So I really think that it's about time. I've already made a few phone calls and stuff, and I'm thinking about it. It's just ridiculous. So.
Yeah. I mean, just anything to get the stuff out of my house at this point would be. I'm looking for ideas. I want to find ways to make that happen, and that's kind of what I've been thinking a lot about lately. Is just what can I do to make myself more productive, make it easier to do everything, and be able to afford whatever option it is that I take, whether it be an antique booth or a warehouse or a storage unit or whatever it is. So, I mean, if you guys feel free, leave some comments. If you've got a really good setup and you've got a really good way to do things the way that you do it, I mean, we might even be able to, pop you in on the show sometime, and you can kind of talk to us about face-to-face about what you do that is helping you become more productive and just, separate yourself from your inventory more. Any ideas are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been thinking about getting a storage unit. It's right around the corner from my house. And basically, I would go picking, bring the stuff home like I usually do. And if there's any cleaning that needs to be done, clean it. And when my husband gets home from work, I can run it around the corner to the storage unit. And then if I sell something, when he gets home from work, I can just run back by there and pick the stuff up for the next day's shipping. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's just like how it would play out in a perfect world.
Well, that's what I keep wondering myself is, I mean, how it seems like if it seems too easy, then there's probably a lot of unforeseen stuff that you got to deal with. And that's another thing I like to talk to people about, somebody who's done it and the mistakes they made and what kind of issues that they ran across. And that would be really helpful to everybody, I think. Because, I mean, we all want to get separated from our stuff and find ways to become more productive and be able to list more and everything. The more you list, the more money you make, and there's no shortage of stuff. It's just time. That's the biggest issue I feel.
Yeah.
But that's why I like having Eric around. He's kind of the expert on all that. We were talking about inventory, things that he did.
Here's something to share. This is from that book sale last week that I cleaned up at. These are the oldest ones I bought there. Just because a book's old doesn't always mean it's worth it. I had to look these up before I picked them up. But I paid about $30. This is only a piece of a set, and they'll go for about $200.
I love old books. One of my first books was a box of really old medical books. I paid $1 for, and I sold like 3 of the books for $100, and I still have quite a few of them left.
Right, and they've also got to be in somewhat decent shape. Like the leather on this is dried out, but none of the pages are torn. There's no major water damage. You know, if the leather was pristine, that same chunk of set would probably go for about $500. So, and these were published in 1832. This would have been the second time they published this set. They published it all the way into the early 1900s.
That is awesome. That's exactly the kind of stuff that I try to keep my eye out for. I don't find enough of it anymore. One of the first estate sales I ever went into, I actually walked in and it was a family trying to get rid of their mother's stuff, you know, and they were handling it all themselves, and they just had boxes and boxes of books. And I probably picked up 12 boxes without even looking at them. I was just like, how much would it cost? What would you charge me if I took it all? And that was the first time that I tried that tactic, and they were like, $10. Okay. So I filled up my car with books for $10, and I got them home. They had like a bunch of old like 1800s books books from the 1800s, early 1900s. A lot of like reference books, textbooks, and that was the first time that I really dealt with books and realized, holy crap, these are worth money. And I mean, a lot of that stuff wasn't worth anything. I still have a lot of the older books just because they seem kind of hard to sell. They're really slow movers, but yeah, there were some in there that I sold for like $50, $60, and that was probably my first big book score.
I think that some books that may be old, but they're not really selling so much to the collector's market. There might be a market out there for, say, interior designers or whatever that like to add an element, you know, to their design of, you know, old world type stuff and have an older book laying around as, you know, decor or something like that. I've heard of people buying them for that reason.
That's what I was thinking with my antique booth. If I decide to go that route, I think older books, like old books published in like the 1800s, 1900s, would probably do pretty well. I see them all the time, but I don't pay enough attention to see what's selling and what's not. That's what I got to start doing.
Yeah, they've got to be leather bound. You know, like Robin was saying, they're going to buy them for aesthetics. So the old cloth bound and stuff usually don't sell as well as the big heavy leather bound stuff like you'd see in an old movie in the library and stuff. Those do a lot better in the antique booth, and that's what I do with my leather bound books that don't have collectible value. I do just that, put them in the booth and let the designers come in and buy them. Right. But here's the military Bolo, I guess for the day or the week or whatever. This is World War II rations. This particular one, because it's unopened, it still has the contents in it. I think I sold this one for $200.
Wow.
Just something to look out for. Basically, in any condition, they have value. I just sold 2 over the weekend that were opened and pretty beat up for $80 a piece.
Awesome.
Who would
Something to look for. Now, they do make reproductions, so you do have to be careful. But usually the reproductions will have some fictitious maker on them. Like this one was made by the Kellogg Company. So, it'd be some company, when you Google it, it won't exist as a manufacturer of World War II rations.
Awesome. Well, it's that time, guys. It's 9 o'clock. Time for us to really get to work. This is the end of the show, but we're glad everybody. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, GillDaddy, for coming on. We always love it when you're on the show. Jeff Davidson, Robin, Jake, Eric, Danica, Adam. Thanks everybody for being on the panel, and thank you guys for watching, listening. Like I said, pretty soon I'm going to start uploading this as a podcast as well as just the morning show, so you can watch it on YouTube. You'll be able to download the podcast if you can't watch it. I feel like it's not the kind of show that you have to watch. It feels more like a radio show to me that's just being video recorded. So maybe that'll be easier for you to take along with you and listen to that way. But go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, Resale Ronin. You can also join my Facebook group, Thrift Store Scores. We don't do much talking in there. It's not. I mean, if you have a haul video or store video, or you just want to brag about something, that's fine. Go ahead and post it up. But a lot of the links to these videos just get lost right away because all the other groups are so big and so many people are posting. We post the link to this show in my group every day along with the other one. So if you have trouble finding a link, just check their store scores, see if it's in there. But thanks everybody for listening, watching, however you're doing it. And we will see you all tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.